Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle Channel, and I'm going to be showing you how to play Golden Slippers. Now, I first learnt this tune many years ago, probably in the first barn dance band I ever played with, and it seemed like a nice easy tune and it was quite fun. I later realised this is actually a great tune, particularly in a Western swing context. It's so easy, anybody can play it, it's easy to get an accompanist to follow you and to make a decent job of it, and you can really have fun with it. So I'm going to show you first of all the basic tune, and then some of the interesting licks that you can put to it and the different feels. And I'm going to be drawing particularly on the playing of Johnny Gimble, who of course was one of my great heroes in the Western swing genre. So this tune, the basic tune is very simple. To that, some double stops or drones is a good idea. So I'm marking a lot of the chord changes with double stops. For example, in the B section, I'm putting a G underneath the E, putting a A underneath the F sharp. And I'm doing a great deal to add to the basic melody in terms of the number of times I'm playing the notes. So all those crotchets is really boring, so at least some of those we're going to break up into quavers and add a bit of syncopation. Again, you can't play all those A's. You can lengthen some of them. In the second half, we've got some long notes, and you can break those up. So there's lots of room to swing on the quavers, and if there's not enough quavers, then break up the crotchets or the longer notes to make some. Let's have one more go with the backing, and listen out for the broken notes and for the open string drones and double stops. Now, if you're playing this, either you're playing the melody or you're playing backing for someone singing, or someone else playing the melody, then a shuffle is a good idea, and the shuffle of choice is the Georgia shuffle, which is 3 notes lowered and 1 note accented with a single down bow. So you might do that kind of thing, and you can do that over the melody. And I'm mixing it up with some syncopation. So that's quite fun. Now, Johnny Gimble, one of his favourite licks was the 6th substitution, which means turning a G chord into a G6. So they're all inversions which give you the E on top of the chord. So that's the 6th. How do we know that's the 6th? If G is the root and that's the 1, then the 5 is the D, so the 6 is the E. And that's kind of the fundamental harmony of Western Swing Fiddle. And I like to think that that harmony comes from the train whistle of those trains that they have a double whistle which whistles in harmony. That's what I like to imagine. So I'm going to play the first line over the G's, and I'll give you some of these G double stops. So whatever key you're in, try and find the 6th and make some use of those. I particularly like the really simple lick. It's good for ending a line, or it's also great for starting a solo. And you do that right down at the heel with a big chop. Now we can make a little lick out of the G6. So we're going to start with those two notes together, and we're going to slide them down and up again. So we're going to slide down both notes together down a semitone. So we're going, that's the bottom line. So that's a nice little lick to start a solo. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Now for the D chord, which comes next, that's a lovely line that includes a lot of chromatic notes. So we're starting off. It's not a full chromatic scale, but it's mostly chromatic. Another one for the D chord is 1, 2, 3. Nice simple lick where we're going from a F sharp. We're bringing the first finger up next to it, and we're rocking and alternating an A with this 3-note phrase. So let's see if we can get those two in with the chords. Then as we're moving to the end of this line, we're going from the D down to the G, and it's nice if you can actually mark the movement of those chords. So as a single line is a good idea. That kind of indicates where the chords are going, it kind of guides you along, but putting a harmony under it is all the better. So the lower harmony is going. The only hard part about that is that, which is a bit of a stretch to get it in tune. Or an alternative is, so slightly more complicated. We're sliding those two notes together down, and then second and first, and then open D with a B flat. which will then slide up to the B natural. So those two both do the same things. Let's just hear that. Here we go. First one. Here we go. Now, as I was preparing for this video, I looked up an old recording of Johnny Gimble, in fact a TV clip where he's doing Right or Wrong, and he does two beautiful licks one after the other. Different song but same chords. So he's going from D to G and he goes so what's going on here, on the, he's substituting a diminished chord for the D7. So it's in the middle of that arpeggio, suddenly it's become an A diminished. He's finishing on that B note and then he's going. And here he's using wide intervals, and that's one special thing about his and a lot of Western swing fiddle playing is, instead of playing all your notes right next to one another, as is very often the case, stick in some wide surprising intervals. So the whole lick, 5 bars. Now you don't get the full enjoyment out of that without the chords, so let's hear what it sounds like. I enjoyed that so much I'm going to do it again. And it's the way that the chords, that the notes leap out of the chords, that is the surprising and exciting thing about those. Here's another wide interval. This is a very bluesy one. So we're jumping from an E down to a B flat. You could also do a wider one still, going down from the G. So that's going to fit anywhere on a G chord. When we get to the C, a nice simple lick is, so this is basically built around an arpeggio, but for each note we're going down and up again. And then another D lick is another Gimble idea, and this is basically starting an arpeggio one note higher and ending one note higher. So instead of, we're going, and that emphasises the that note, which is the 9th. So you're effectively turning a D into a D9. So let's just try a few of those chords with those licks. So that was a 9th substitution. We're going to finish off with an absolute killer. This is the augmented substitution. Instead of a D7 chord, we are turning it into a D augmented. Now the D augmented scale goes up in tones. Let's see what that sounds like against the chords. can see that this is something that it requires an investment in time to learn the thing, to get your fingers around it, and it will be repaid every time you play it. And if you want even more repayment and investment, then learn it in double stops, which is, there's a tune called Fiddling Around, which is Johnny Gimble's composition, and he uses this double stopped augmented lick. We're not going to do that tune, but what we've got is one more time. So you know the holiday in Greece that you were planning? Well, cancel that and spend 2 weeks instead practicing this lick. So when you play this lick, every time you play it, look around at the rest of the band and at the audience and see if you get a reaction. Either eyebrows raised or jaws dropped or pints dropped, and then you'll know that you didn't waste your time on, on learning this lick. And I'm going to finish off with 3 times round, and I'll put in some of these variations and probably a few more. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you will think of Golden Slippers in a new light. If you want to subscribe, send me an email, then I can send you a copy of the dots. So see you again soon.